giving you the real surrounding the Dallas Cowboys. News, updates, rumors, transactions, takes, and more. So strap up, Cowboys Nation, and start your day off with your host, Skywalker Steele.
3, 2, 1.
Here we go. Good morning, good people. Welcome to the Skywalker Morning Show, streaming live on YouTube. And of course, I am your host, Will Skywalker Steele. Boom! Oh, you see her. I've got my lovely sister with me today, baby. 2I joins me to talk about this route that the Cowboys put on the Washington football people. Before I hear from our sister real quick, I feel like in honor of Shotty, I got to do it like this real quick. Just give me a second. I got to warm up the vocals. All right, y'all ready for this?
Yeah.
Let me cut this off. Another 40 burger.
Yeah!
CD Lamb is back.
Yeah!
Demon Time Pickens.
Yeah!
Pick Six King returns.
Yeah!
Cowboys rout the football people.
Yeah!
All right, baby. What's going on, 2I? How you feeling this morning?
What's up, man? Hey, dog, I was just talking to my girls about that on Girls Talk, Boys Talk. If you ain't catching it, you're slipping.
Yeah.
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 And I feel like that is such a, first of all, I know you like it because it reminds you of like wrestling talk.
Yes.
Right. I know
He's
that's why
definitely
you
channeling
like
his inner WWE promo style stuff. And
absolutely.
I love it.
But I like it because it reminds me of when I was in the service. Like, you want your name called. You want to be a part of that. You know, the guys getting the call outs at the end of the day. And even at that, like, you got guys celebrating other guys. I just feel like we got a head coach, y'all. We got a head coach, big dog. You hear me?
I mean, from the rooter to the tutor, right? Remember we was having a joke about that a couple weeks ago. From top to bottom, for real, like on the field, Monday through Saturday, at the presser. And he's not perfect, right? He wasn't in this game. He hasn't been in every single game. But like I said, I come away from these games way more encouraged about the coach than not. And I don't think that's been the case in a long time on that side of the ball. But I thought it was real funny on the other side of the ball. I mean, you talk about timing here. And trust and believe me, y'all know what today. By the way, before we get into all that, shouts out to the Bomb Squad.
Bomb Squad!
Shouts out to y'all joining us this morning. Let me know if the audio cool. Let me know if y'all can hear 2I straight. You can hear us straight because we finna go in on one. We got the cookout coming up, ladies and gentlemen. And this is going to be interesting. I've never done this segment with someone here, so this is going to be fun. So what I decided to do is, of course, grown folk table. We're going to talk about those who stood out the most. And I said 2I, because see, what y'all don't know is 2I partakes, but responsibly, and we got to go take her on the walk. So I said 2I, who's going on a walk with us? She sent me her list, so we're going to talk about it. So 2I is going to handle the walk. I got the grown folk table, and it should be fun. We got a victory Monday for y'all. Cowboys 44, Washington 22. And before we get into the other side of the ball, the side where, look, I don't think anybody can stop this offense. I think the only people that can stop the offense is the Cowboys offense themselves. We know what they are. Can we, just for a second here, talk about the identity change this Sunday? We're talking about a 180 on the defensive side of the ball from a schematic standpoint, not necessarily, hey, this is the Denver Broncos or whatever. Like, the Broncos, by the way, did not have a great defensive game. But you know what I mean? This is the number one defense. Oh, but certain things happen over the few weeks. Certain things are being requested, be it through the media by players, be it through social media by fans. And I want to set the table this way. The Cowboys. Uh-oh.
Wait, you got people in the comments being like, Iisha on gas?
I'm sorry. I said, wait. I said, I'm sorry too. I'm sorry too. I didn't mean to. It's jokes, y'all. Jokes. She's
Have
not on gas.
mercy. You
Guys.
got people thinking that I'll just be.
No. It's the segment. We're having fun.
Listen, I got that loud on deck. No.
My bad.
No.
I'm so sorry. I forgot the chat.
To my parties.
I forgot my chat. My chat ain't right in the head, but you gotta love them.
Puff pass. Puff pass. Sky.
Can y'all wait?
Have them thinking I'm out here chiefing.
It's a special segment. It's sponsored by, and that's just late. It was a.
That explains a lot. Oh my God! Now everybody think that I'm just. This ain't Pineapple Express.
All right, look, I'm gonna just keep it.
All right, gone.
When I was in Dallas,
my eyes is red.
When I was in Dallas, 2i was my connect, yo. Nah, I'm just playing. You wasn't the plug.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, but the chat is going nuts.
Well,
red eye.
I hate to tell you this. It's only going to get worse once we actually go on the walk. You might want to leave them alone. Let them have their own party over there. Just let them.
I gotta get out of here.
You got to.
I had the chat pulled up. It was the worst mistake I could ever make.
Oh damn! Swain said the.
Never seen 2i and Pablo in the same room. Now that we think about it, you know what? Your chat out of
Sway said, "Girl talk, bud talk." No! Can we get to football? God damn, y'all crazy.
Football.
Y'all crazy. But
2i and Sky and too high.
Sky and 2i too high. Oh Lord, stop it. Can we move on? Sky and 2i too high is kind of crazy. I ain't gonna lie.
I'm a disabled veteran. Y'all not gonna treat me like this.
This is what happened.
Scott, my bad.
This is what happened when you have a Victory Monday in the manner that you had it yesterday, right? It was such a complimentary, complete team victory, and it would not be possible if you didn't get something from your defense, right? And look, I'm gonna say the same thing I said after the Jets game. I don't care. Okay, I know they were down the receivers. I know old boy got hurt. I don't care. I just want to see this defense take some steps, right? Gain some confidence, build some momentum. I do think it was very interesting, though, that confidence came from them doing a complete 180. Let me read this number off to you. The Cowboys have played on Sunday a season-high 47% man coverage. Get out the chat, 2i. Get out of there. I'm trying to get out of there. Go get in trouble.
Okay.
They're gonna get you in trouble over there.
Okay.
Trust and believe me. I'm fighting because I see him, but I'm fighting. 47% man coverage, season high. A season high blitz rate, 30+%. We'll get the official number here in a second. That equaled a season high in pass breakups, 2i. Think about that for a second. There was a statistic that came out. Diggs and Bland, who lead their team in interceptions and pass breakups over the last 4 years, had zero, right? Zero. And all of a sudden, 47% man, heat the quarterback up a little bit more, 5 pass breakups, a pick 6 returns, you get 4 sacks. It looked like a defense to me that started to mirror the aggressiveness of your offense, which is something that, we talked about this behind the scenes and I mentioned it on my show. I just didn't think those two things added up. And let me ask you this question. It came out on the broadcast and Shadi kind of hinted at that in the press conferences. He was in the defensive meetings this week. I don't think this is a coincidence. I don't think this is just Flus waking up and saying, you know what, I'm going to change up who I've been. I think Shadi went in that room and said, hey, dog, we got to do a little bit more X, Y, Z. And Flus said, okay. And credit to both of those men. Flus could have been stubborn, and this is just my opinion. Flus could have been stubborn and said no. Shadi could have been stubborn and said, you got the defense, I got the offense. I think this is I got to give a hat tip to Shadi, a hat tip to Flus for working together here, and a hat tip to the players for not quitting on them.
Yeah, no, I agree. And that's why I said we got a head coach.
Mm-hmm.
Because I do think he started seeing one of my biggest concerns, and I know that's been one of your concerns, is the locker room
Yeah.
and keeping this locker room together and keeping them from starting to point fingers, given how unbalanced that you were just talking about, Sky, it is on the defensive to offensive side of the ball. And for Shotty to go in there, for Eberflus to be open, like you talked about, Sky, for him to be, and I think his time as an advisor on the defensive side and stuff is why he is comfortable being able to do that. And so I really feel like him doing that made all of the difference this week. And shout out to Flus for adjusting. I mean, you talking about
Yes.
we got to see, I mean, they played cover one, cover three. Dallas coming into this game only 14 times this season had 5 defensive linemen on the field. We saw that change. They loaded the box. They had some dime packages with Marquise Bell and Elijah Clark. I
Three
mean,
safeties was out there at one
yeah,
point.
3 safeties. And I wanted to add this because Christy Scales, again, if you ain't watching Girls Talk,
Scoops.
dropped a huge nugget on our show this morning saying that they've been wanting to do that dime package with Marquise Bell on some of these third downs for some time now, for a couple weeks now, but they haven't had the opportunity because Dallas has not been able to, they haven't really been getting teams in third down situations enough. So this is something that I think can be implemented more frequently with Marquise Bell. And I like the way that he played this week as well.
Yeah, it was just pleasant to see that we made a legitimate attempt. Not,
Mhm.
I know he mentioned subtle, talking about Flus, and this wasn't subtle. I
At
don't
all.
think this was subtle. I think this, 3 sacks came when you played man coverage. You know what I mean? You sent 5 guys more. Now he didn't get crazy and send 6 or engage 8. Fire Z, cover Z. Like, nah, he didn't do all that. But just, you see what happens when you send one extra guy more often than not. You see what happens when you get a little bit, you mix it up a bit. You see what happens when you look. Let's be honest. You leaned into the strengths of your scheme. You leaned into the strength of your personnel, and no bigger tell that something was about to change to me, than the beginning of the game. I don't know if it was Christy. I think it might have been Christy
It
who
was
had
Christy
dropped
because
this and
she
said
just
the
mhm.
starters are going to be Deron Bland in the slot, Bridges on the outside, and Elam. And I looked around. I'm like, wait,
It
because
shocked
Reggie
me.
Stewart is your best zone guy, but Deron Bland. Look, I know a lot of people slot boundaries, whatever, but we know in the slot and man, he's had great success.
Yes.
And I'm like, okay, I think we're about to see more man. I didn't know how much more. I didn't know it was going to be 50-50 basically, but that
Mm.
was a big tell right there. And that was, let's just keep it a bean. That was him either A, listen to the players or listen to the coach. I don't know which one because, I'm not going to get into the TMZ aspect of
Mm.
Trayvon Diggs yet. I do think there's a conversation that could be had, although I'll be quick here. They did come out and say, there's no smoking gun is what coach or what Jerry said. So they're expecting him back next week, which is interesting because I didn't think that was the case. But either way, he was very vocal. Very vocal, I think, behind the scenes, very vocal in front of the cameras about playing more man, about what it's like that these guys heating them up. It makes it better, but don't let it get twisted here. The players in that locker room also, I think, wanted to do this, and you heard Deron Bland say after the game, we like man. I'm a cover guy, and I like to play man." He said that.
Yeah.
So hopefully Flus continues to lean into what these guys do best and you mix it up a little bit. That's all. Because you just got to give your guys a fighting chance with the way your offense is playing. Just give them a fighting chance.
Yeah, and you talked about mixing it up. That's the big part of it is doing, and I think you working off of the matchup. What does the matchup call for? This matchup in particular, you know that this team is probably going to try to lean on the run, so you load the box, and then you also know once you got ahead, you put them in a position to where they have to pass. That's when you can throw
Yes.
more guys in coverage. That's when you got, and what Dallas said and what Eberflus said is, hey, we know that these guys are down some receivers, so you're gonna have to beat you're gonna have to beat them on your own. Also, too, when you look at Washington, even when their starters were in, Jaden Daniels struggles. He's not as efficient against men coverage. So this is something that worked off of the mass matchup, which is what I've been looking for in general. If you're going up against a team that struggles in one area, let's try to attack it.
Yeah.
And that's what Dallas decided to do.
And look, Brady said something very interesting, and it
Mhm.
sounds like just basic football. But think about what man can do for you. It makes it tougher on the quarterback to have to fit it right there. Now, sometimes you can be wide open, like we've seen in this game. Guys drop the
Mhm.
ball
There were some
in
times.
zone and man, it happened. However, there were times, definitely, I think it was the first 3rd and 3. There was good coverage. I want to say McCaffrey across you can't screaming across the field. I think Bland was on him, and that required a good throw and a good catch, and neither happened. It
Mhm.
requires you to have to thread it a little bit more than throwing it into in these wide open zones that the Cowboys have been given. So again, he said something very basic, but when you have guys that feel more comfortable doing it, I know the counterpoint is, well, Sky, when they played man this year, they weren't great. Yeah, when you only play man 4 times a game and it's 91% zone, usually 4 times you might not be great if you play man 50% of the time. But what about the other 20 plays,
Mhm.
right? So let these guys get in the groove and with something that they're comfortable with. So it was nice to see that flip. Again, 5 pass breakups. The pick 6 king returns for Deron Bland. We'll get to that in a second. Funny thing about the linebacker play, real quick on
Don't start.
James, on Shamar James. We kind of talked about how he looked, man. Shamar James, Maris Leafau. These guys are going to make mistakes because they're still figuring it out as young kids, but these guys are going to make plays. What do you know? The 2 plays made this year by linebackers have been Shamar James sack fumble, recovery Cowboys. Maris Leafau punch out fumble, recovery Cowboys. Interesting to interesting.
Yeah, I mean, also too, Sky, coach called them out for not being physical enough, and they were physical in this game. They were hitting. I mean, clearly, we don't want to see anybody get injured, but most of these guys, when they were tackling, they were thudding out there as well. So I
Mm-hmm.
feel like the physicality of the defense took an uptick. The speed of the defense took an uptick. They felt more certain about their keys and what it was that they were supposed to be doing. Obviously, there were some, miscommunications on the back end, but you essentially have 2 guys playing back there that haven't, even been getting reps like that. I mean, Triquez Bridges, this
Bridges.
was his first time starting, and he's going from 0 to 100. I believe that Christie said he played 80% of the snaps on defense. So you're gonna have some of those miscommunications and stuff sometimes, but I do think until those guys get comfortable. But no, I agree. I felt like they came out with some intensity. They forced a punt to start the game, and it really just kind of set the tone. Also, special teams as well.
Brandon Brandon Aubrey, the goddamn goat.
He's so special.
He's the greatest kicker of all. I remember a couple weeks
He's
ago,
so
y'all
special.
said the only thing he's missing is postseason success. That's
Mhm.
it. Like Adam Vinatieri is probably going to go down as the greatest because of his postseason success, the big kicks, the clutch kicks in big moments. There's no more talented kicker that I've ever seen. Now, I know the joke's going to say, Sky, you've seen them all, but what, George Blanda or something from back in the day? Like, come on, y'all. This dude is a machine. And again, another nugget. They said on the broadcast, apparently he don't even practice those kicks, and I loved why.
Yeah.
He said, because if I do that, then I feel like I have to change up my motion because I got to put more into it. He said, I don't go past 55 because I want every kick to feel the same. I said,
Eh,
that's the
eh, eh,
best.
but then at the same token, he'll tell you that every time he kicks, most of the time it's not the same. He said that. He said,
Oh,
like, when it comes off my foot, it's not always consistent. So he's just, I mean,
his
he's
motion
just a
feels, it
raw.
looks like it. It looks like a
Shout out to
machine.
Bones. Shout out to Bones.
Shout out
We
to
will
Bone.
always
Chris
thank you
Bonio,
so much
too.
for getting Cavante Turpin and Brandon Aubrey for us.
I want to say I can't remember what it was. I want to say Chris Bonio reached out to the Cowboys, too, former
Mhm.
Cowboys kicker. That was his kicking coach. So shouts out to him.
Yeah, and here's the thing about it is that it just puts so much stress on the opposing team's offense, man, because you almost every time you get the ball, if you get a good return, I mean, you only gotta go a few yards, and it's 3 or 7 every time. I mean, it's gonna
Uh,
be 3 or 7 with how explosive this offense is, and then also how good the kicker is. You can if the Cowboys get enough, if they get enough from their returner, you're talking about 20 yards, 15 yards,
yeah.
and then you can score, and you can I mean, 3 points doesn't
No,
sound like a
no,
lot to us because
no.
obviously this offense is able to score, but for some offenses, baby, that 3 is big.
I looked over to my boy Lee. Football people were going for it on 4th down. I said, you know, if they don't get it, we're in field goal range. They were at the 48 or something, like the
It's
48
sick.
50 of the Cowboys. I'm like, we're in field goal. If they don't get it right now, we don't get a single yard.
Yeah.
He can boot this 66-yard like it's nothing. Unbelievable. He's not at the grown folk table, but it is time to it is time for the cookout, ladies and gentlemen. And a couple of our segments this morning are going to be presented by, I think, very appropriate sponsors. Shouts out. The cookout is going to be presented by Z Biotics. If you guys don't know what Z Biotics is, I'll tell you about Z Biotics. And I know at the cookout, barbecue, whatever you want to call it, there are going to be some drinks that are being served, some food and some good vibes, especially after this Cowboys dub. That is a part of the experience. But here's the thing. Not everybody is built to pour a bunch of drinks and wake up the next morning and feel great until Z Biotics came around. Yeah. Let me tell you how Z Biotics works. It's the world's first genetically engineered probiotic drink created by PhD scientists to help you feel your best the morning after drinking. When you drink, your body turns alcohol into a toxic byproduct in your gut, and that's what really is behind the rough mornings, not dehydration. Z-Biotic Pro Alcohol steps in to break that stuff down. So after the cookout, you're not waking up feeling like you lost the next day. You're waking up ready to run that thing back. It's simple. Just make Z-Biotics your first drink of the night. Enjoy the evening. Drink responsibly, all right? And wake up ready to roll. Go to zbiotics.com/steal to learn more and get 15% off your first order when you use the code STEAL at checkout. That is zbiotics.com/steal. Get 100% money back guarantee if you're not feeling it, but I think you will. Are you ready? I gotta press this button because this is when you hear this, you just know it's gonna be a good time, ladies and gentlemen. What you bringing? Here we go, and you haven't seen my cookout list just quite yet, so this is off the cuff for us too. But I think you can get the gist of it, right? You can get the gist of it. So I got. We want to start. Let's start with GP over there. You see GP?
You so crazy, man.
You see GP and the shiesty? Showed up with the
Lattimore.
And the button up. I like the fit, GP. You know why he cooking Lattimore? Because he was cooking Lattimore, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, it might only say 4 or 5 receptions. What is it? 4 receptions? 82 yards, though. 2 ridiculous catches, though. Right? 2 ridiculous catches where he just made Marshawn. He dunked on him. I'm going to just say that. George Pickens keeps showing why I think he is arguably the best number 2 the Cowboys have ever had. Kind of give us your thoughts on GP, and I'll be right back in a second.
I don't know. I mean, I've said it before. You know, Dallas hasn't had a true X in a while, and the way that he is able to just open up this field is remarkable. And him and Dak Prescott, I was hoping, me and you talked about this before the season started, was that, well, actually, no, when CeeDee Lamb went down, we were hoping that this would kind of force Dak and Pickens to have to kind of speed up or expedite their connection. And that's kind of what we're seeing. I mean, Dak is just performing at a really high level, and he's putting these guys in position to not only score but to have some yards after catch as well. It's just been impressive, dog.
Yeah, man. I think the time off that Lamb had allowed Pickens and Dak to develop chemistry to this point where this is exactly what you're going to see, right? 8 targets to CeeDee Lamb, 6 targets to Pickens, 100 plus to CD, 80 something to Pickens, and sometimes that's going to flip. This is an unstoppable duo, It's an unstoppable duo, in my opinion. I really don't know how teams are going to be able to deal with this week in and week out. And when your run game gets going like it did, that helps as well.
Well, I think it's awesome too, because this is another thing one thing that I think we can take from Shoddy at this point is that he gonna walk it like he talk it. If he says he's gonna do something, okay, talk it.
Hey, Coach Underwood back there on the 1s and 2s. Drop that real quick for me, Coach. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
People like, who is the DJ? Anyway, but he said I have to be intentional about how, when asked about how is he going to keep Pickens involved even when CD Lamb comes back, he said I have to be intentional with how I do that, and he
Yeah.
kept his word. He
Yeah.
kept his word, because it would be very easy for him to, hone in on CD, try to get him back in the swing, but they went to him early, and then you saw them have the gut punch with Pickens. And so I think it's a balanced way in which they're using them both, and it really stresses it stresses the defense. I mean, obviously Lattimore had a hard time, but I think even good secondaries are going to have trouble
Yeah.
with all of the usage of these are guys. That's one thing that's kind of underrated that I believe, is that Pickens is not just a deep ball guy. I think his route running is shown as well, to start this season. They're using him in the slot. They're using him in some of the intermediate game as well. So them both kind of being interchangeable, dog.
The
It's
deep
a lot.
ball to Pickens is undefeated, man. It's
great.
undefeated. I just don't, I think it's unguardable. I don't care how good you are as a cornerback. You can't deal with it. And again, that I got to put Lamb. Got to put Lamb his first game back. 5 receptions, 110 yards, and a ridiculous 74-yard touchdown. I had to hit up. I forget. Did I call you Vach? I think it was Vach I called, and I was just like. And this goes to Dak. Let me just go ahead and we can just segue this into Dak as well. Do y'all realize how insane a couple of these throws were to George Pickens and CeeDee Lamb? Insane. One of those 44, actually both of those big plays of Pickens were just in the bucket, but the second one was just stupid. There was no room for error. But the 74-yard touchdown to CeeDee Lamb was so much more impressive than what Tom Brady was low-key kind of, that was a little weird.
I heard he was hating. I didn't have my
A little
volume up
weird.
loud enough to hear him, but I heard he was doing a little hate.
A little weird. But the play, so I love how Shotty explained it. They basically just told CeeDee Lamb and Pickens, hey, Lamb, you run up the seam. Pickens going to run the 9 as well. We're going to put pressure. We talked about this, I think, behind the scenes, on that safety. You like to play a lot of cover one. And so Lamb throws up the mailbox, right? But he can't throw it on the same trajectory that Lamb is going because the safety's there, as well as I think the corner dropping back because of the distance of the rock. He has eyes on the quarterback, so he can actually make a play on the ball. So instead of just leading him upfield that way, he leads him 45 yards down the field and makes him reroute underneath where George Pickens in that corner was, and he's able to just kind of run by in the corner and the safety kind of collide, or the corner and the corner collide. 74-yard touchdown. Unbelievable play. Unbelievable adjustment mid-route by CeeDee Lamb and Dak Prescott. I said this, the hoop is an ocean right now for Dak. It's just an ocean. 21 for 30, 264, 3 touchdowns, 130 quarterback rating. I think he has the best QBR in the NFL. We're not seeing a bunch of turnover-worthy play. I hardly ever see him put the ball in trouble at this damn point. And I think that goes to something he talked about earlier in the season, where this is the type of offense I envisioned being in when I got here. You know, I don't want to use the 3-letter words, because at the end of the day, the only 3-letter word I care about is in the Super Bowl, right? Give me the Super Bowl MVP. But he's playing at that level. I think he's playing the best football at the quarterback position in the league, and we're seeing it down in, down out, week in, week out. I feel like every time he goes out there, we can score a touchdown too.
I mean, yeah, man, you talking about quarterback, and like I want to be specific because I think with the way that the quarterback position has changed and the way that people kind of play it now, is that, there's so much responsibility in that position. Setting the tone, tempo, the way he's diagnosing at the line of scrimmage, he's calling his protections, getting the ball out, delivering the ball on time and accurately. The offensive line has some trouble in pass protection yesterday. It didn't matter. He was getting off his spot, but he was still able to keep his shoulders downfield and make passes. I mean, yeah, this is year 10 Dak, right? It's 10, right?
This is to me the prime. He's prime Drew
Prime
Brees.
Dak. Yeah, this is prime Dak. And another thing too is, like, it sounds like a small thing, but the threat of his legs, it matters as well. I mean, he's not running like crazy, but the fact that he is so much more decisive about it, Sky, that when he sees it, he's going. That's just a whole nother thing. So imagine being a defense, right, Sky? Imagine being a defense. You got to worry about Turpin. You got to worry about Ferg, who had a 2-touchdown day
Oh,
again. You got to worry about Pickens. You got to worry about CeeDee Lamb. You got to worry about Javonte Williams. And you also have to worry about the quarterback if he sees grass because you want to play downfield because you're so worried about my receivers. Hey, I'm going to take this yardage that's in front of me as
yeah.
well. And I think that element being back into his game also continuously makes your running game more threatening than what it already is too.
Well, he's not necessarily running from a design run standpoint.
No. Yeah, I said that.
But what was it's backbreaking when he uses it in the pass game because again 3rd and 8 he could have threw it backwards to Blue and Blue might have scored, but just to make sure, right, you don't want to throw it forward or throw it backwards or fumble. We said I'm gonna fake it and get this 8 yards. He's running responsibly. He's running exactly kind of like I think it was Coach Clayton Adams who mentioned it. He was like, yeah, we just want him to be smart, to let Dak be Dak. And something we had talked about in the offseason, this is we believe this would be 2023 mobile Dak. Where in 23, now he ran a couple design runs, but you saw the off script stuff after the come to Jesus moment with the head coach. He's like, hey man, we got to have more of these kind of design things, not necessarily runs, but when it breaks down, where it's designed, I can roll out or I can get out. And he ran a lot more with his legs to get a first down, to get a couple yards. You're seeing this version of Dak. I think it's even better because he's more lethal with weaponry. He's more lethal with the play calling. And it adds to the fact that how do you stop it, right? If it's all covered up and you give him green grass, he's not hesitant anymore. He can get you 6-7 yards running the ball. I don't know how you stop it.
I mean, you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. He's going to kill you against man. He's going to kill you against zone.
Yeah.
And then if you decide to run man and your guys are running downfield with his guys, then he's going to run. So it really is. And this is what's been missing from this Dallas offense for quite some time. Shotty talked about being multiple. You really are multiple. You really have multiple guys that can show up for you every week. And then you also can attack in the run game and also attack in the passing game. We haven't had a balanced attack on offense like this in quite some time. I think it's something that will continue into the future because you have most of the gentlemen that are here locked up. Except for, Pickens.
The couple of these dudes on here are not, but I definitely think Pickens.
I'm talking about the core guys, the offensive line.
Yeah. I mean, you have
your core guys.
You got the point guard here for quite some time. You got your all pro here in Lamb, right? You signed with Terp for a couple years. But that one right there with that Shiesty, they got to make sure they include him in that.
They're going to have to do it. I mean, because here's my thing, Sky. Number one, I don't care if y'all think I'm soft. I'm glad he's happy. I'm glad he's enjoying football again. But also, too, I think with what you need, the work you need to do on your defense, right, is like you got to do some things in the offseason. You hope that they figure something out, the trade deadline, like the work that you have to do to get this defense to match this offense. It's probably still going to take a little bit of time. So in the meantime, score all the points. Score all the points. Listen. Continue to put pressure on defenses while your defense over time hopefully gets to the level or at least close to your offense, and then you have a championship team to me.
Another guy that's not under contract moving forward, I guess people will have some conversations about this too. Javonte Williams, welcome back to the grown. I feel like every time we do this, he on the grown folk table. He eating. He hefty too. He run like he hefty, but he's shifty. He's a hefty, shifty fella out there. And 116 yards, 6.1 yards per carry, another touchdown. This dude at the end of halves at this point is like throwing the ball.
He take it personally. He's like, oh, y'all thought I was done?
Somebody posted a meme that said, when they try to give Javonte Williams one of those, all right, we just getting a couple yards at the end of the half, he said, oh, so I'm that's what you think?
I posted the Thanos gift.
I
said, nobody. Javonte Williams at the end of halves. I am inevitable.
It's unbelievable.
It is.
At this, when you're 2 for 2 with that happening, I wonder if teams will start to say, wait. We got to, can you imagine having to play the run with like 35 seconds left?
Great.
You on like the 30-yard lead, like, wait a minute, we got to play the run because this motherfucker, he might go for 60. That's crazy.
Great.
So shouts out to Javonte.
I love the aggressiveness though, Sky. I love the aggressiveness. If they're gonna play, so that's strategy. That's the game within the game. You know that teams are gonna play you soft because they think, okay, you're just trying to get into field goal range because they think that Aubrey, obviously can make these kicks.
Can
It's
make it.
like, nah, we're trying to go score right now. We want you to go into the half with something to think about. We
Yeah,
want to put more pressure on you.
it was one of those no, no, no. Oh, yes, yes, yes moments for me, though, because I think we had just completed a big pass down the field. We had a timeout in our pockets. It was like 20-some seconds left. I'm thinking we're about to throw this thing. And they hand it off, and I'm like, how we hand it off? No. Oh, go. Score.
And it was right after a sack,
Unbelievable.
too. It was
Right
right
after a
after a
sack.
sack,
Yeah, I
too,
think
guys.
it was a sack, the throw, and then the run, I think, happened. It was kind of crazy the way they ended that half, but that's the Cowboys. They've been pretty damn good at the end of halves. And when you have a kicker like you have, you can play this thing so many ways to where the defense has to think, damn, are they just going to play for the 60-yard field goal, or are they going to go for the gusto because they have those weapons to do so? But for me, the play of the game for Javonte Williams, it wasn't even, although that play was impressive. So that kind of was a play of the game, but I'll say the turning point, which you could say, Sky, slow down, that's early. Cowboys come out and try to run a screen. Didn't work. We got to kind of axe that. Get that out the playbook. Running the screen with Javonte Williams is not working, right? Let's just switch it up. The very next play, all right, let's settle down. Javonte Williams breaks like 3 or 4 tackles, runs over somebody, and gets you 8-9 yards. Okay, we're settled in. You're in for a long day on defense with this man and this quarterback. I thought that set the tone of wanting to be that physical team, right? Run the ball, be balanced, 31 passes, 31 rushes, 30 passes, what have you. That kind of, I don't want to say turning point is early, but that set the tone on offense where we good. Yeah, we misplayed that one on the first down, but Javonte Williams, the very next play, said, I'm here, we're cool. And I love that. And he's been that guy this year where things have been a little weird. Hand the ball to him, he'll get you back going.
Yeah, I thought the interior settled down. The interior of the offensive line settled down. I mean, what Dallas was doing to start this game, which is what I thought that they would try to do to kind of replicate some of the things that the Bears did with some of that outside zone stuff, trying to really attack their edges. You had some issues with your wide receivers getting out and blocking. I think that Tolbert had a hold, CD had a hold, a couple of those bigger plays by Jadon Blue got called back, but Dallas was trying to attack them on the outside because I felt like they thought that there was a weak point there, and that wasn't working. Now, we're going to talk about that later because I feel like if you can get some of that outside zone stuff going, you're gonna be really deadly. But they decided to go ahead.
If it's in their wheelhouse. I wonder
if it's in their wheelhouse.
Yeah.
I don't think that that's Javonte's game. I do think that you could use Jadon Blue in those situations. However, it takes patience and it takes time. He needs, obviously he's going to need reps and stuff. But I do think that's a part of your offense, your run game that you haven't really unlocked, like you just talked about, the screen game and some of that stuff. You haven't unlocked that as much. I think that that's something you can work on later. But back to my original point, I thought that the interior of the offensive line really settled down and they were able to get some of those. They decided to stop pulling and to just go duo again. And that's what they have thrived at. And so you saw them get up on those linebackers for Washington. And again, Javonte Williams is a guy that's going to always fall forward. So I thought that they physicality wise, they took it to the Washington Commanders as that game went on.
Yeah, one of the things going into this matchup that I thought they had I want to say the advantage, but they can punch right with you, was their interior. Like I mentioned this on a collective, and we were going to do our show, but things happen, and we talked about it back and forth about the interior. I mentioned some things on Twitter. They shown throughout the season that, look, they may not be a good defense, but they were deep on the interior, and you saw what happened when you try to get funny at that 1 yard line, and they just you try to run down the middle. I'll be fair, Jay Will tiptoed. I don't know why he was tiptoeing, but he tiptoed, and then they try to put Schoonmaker on Payne, which is goofy, and Payne makes the play. But your interior got no push on that play. That's a situation where you want Jay Will to stick your head and get 2 yards. We don't need you dancing in it. You can't dance in the end zone. That was one thing you cannot do. But I think they settled down, as you said, though. They started getting back to the things that, okay, we know we can do this on anyone. And I think it became a little difficult to do those pulls because you have a talented interior that sees that stuff, that can get upfield quickly, and it can disrupt. The best way to disrupt the puller is by disrupting his pathway. And when you have an interior that can do that, it makes it tough. So they said, okay, we're not going to do that. We're just gonna double here, and seal here in the alley.
Mhm.
And another underrated part of Javonte Williams' game, his vision.
Oh yeah, man.
His
It's
vision, bro.
so good between the
And
tackles. He's
patience.
so patient
Yeah.
and he can put his foot in the ground and go. It's so crazy how ACLs are not career enders anymore, Sky.
Yeah, I don't think it's crazy because he had big plays. I don't think he has the same juice as he had when he first came in, but this scheme he doesn't need to be.
Yeah.
He doesn't need to be.
Mhm.
Just give him a crease, give him a plan in front of him, right? He doesn't necessarily need a runway. He just needs to know, okay, this is the plan. Duo, this is the plan. We're going to get a CT pull. This is the plan, and my vision will do the rest. My patience will do the rest. And I may not be a 4-4 runner, but I can still get 8. I can still get 10. And damn it, if I hit it right, I can get 30 to 60. You know, and it's not a Jaden Blue 60-yard run. It's a Javonte Williams type of run.
Yeah.
Yes, we don't have the 2 yet, but until we figure that out, he's going to be the guy they got to lean on. And shouts out to Blue. You know, he got some gritty, needed these type of carries at the end of the game that you hope will help moving forward.
Yeah, I thought the tackles as well, it's not always going to be pretty with either one of them as they polish, but even on that big run by Javonte Williams, you saw Tyler Guyton get out there. You showed that athleticism and open up that runway for him. So I do think the athleticism of the tackles definitely helps in some of these explosive plays in the run game as well. So yeah, I like
Shouts out
the
to
the balance. And to Javonte Williams' point, I know we got to move on, but he did say a few weeks ago that he's not just running anymore. He understands, he understands what is happening within the play, and I think that is helping him with his vision as well because he knows where other guys are supposed to be and what they're doing and setting him up block wise, and I think that's showing in how he's playing right now, Scott.
Yeah, I don't know if it was during the week or what have you, but didn't know he was the valedictorian at in his high school, I think it
Smart dude.
was, and Dak kind of talked about that, saying, "Man, very smart. He knows everybody's job. He knows where he got to be." When you, I think that goes into his vision. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? I think he just kind of what's that meme, a hangover where old boy's coming down. Or he's playing at the craps table or blackjack, and you see all the numbers going around. I feel like that's Javonte Williams sometimes in the backfield, just playing with the numbers, seeing guys, and that jump cut he had where should have been a tackle for 2 yards in the backfield to get like 15 or whatever it was. Just spectacular play. He's playing out of his mind right now. And then finally for me, at the grown folk table, welcome back, Ron Bland, the
Mm.
pick six king, baby. That play, as it was going on. By the way, pass rush was really weird in this game. I mean, it felt like so much when they rushed 4 or 3. Yeah, the quarterbacks were just back there dancing around, moving around, or whatever. And you saw that with Mariota trying to dance around, make a play, shrug guys off. And the sun is on that side, and he kind of throws the ball up. In broadcast view, I can't see who's over there, but the wide open guy. And out of nowhere, it's a bird, it's a plane. No, it's Deron Bland. He flashes, gets the pick, and takes it to the crib. And I'm like, man, I'm so happy for this. We
Right.
needed that because look, if there's going to be struggles throughout this year, you need your guys to have a play, like your top guys have a play like this to make them feel confident. And you need your DC to see, look, let's play into these guys' strengths, right? Let's play into it. Granted, that was zone, but you get what I mean, right? Like, look, he's feeling good, he's playing well, he triggered well, he read that, he didn't get caught up in any sauce behind him. He said, there's a guy here, there's pressure in front of me. I mean, just be patient. And I don't know what Mariota was doing, but we thank him.
I thought he was trying to get the ball out of bounds. He just didn't put enough on it. But I think one thing that stood out to me with the interception in itself is, Deron Bland has been battling through foot injuries. And so seeing him drive, seeing him
That
put his
click,
foot in the ground
trigger.
and drive to the ball made me feel good. I hope it made him feel good to feel, just these guys after they come back from injury. I know it's easy for us to say like we want them to play a certain way and whatever, but they have to believe it themselves as well, Sky, and trust their bodies. And so that's one of the first times I've seen him really drive and attack the ball the way that he did, and also to his physicality as a tackler
Yes,
in that
7
nickel.
tackles in that game.
He was also tone setting and how he tackled and how he defended in the flats from that nickel spot. So I think he's gaining more confidence. Obviously, coach doing some of the things that he wants, that he thrives in, helps build more confidence. And it's good for this secondary moving forward if he's playing at a high level.
Yeah, there was a play, I think another third down play, 3rd and 5 or 4, whatever it was, backed up. The Washington football people were backed up. And he threw a slant to Roby, what do they call him now? Chosen or something? Roby? I thought it was
Robbie
Roby.
Chosen, he changed his name.
Whatever it is. But
Don't go there, Scott. Please
Chosen.
don't go there.
I kept calling Roby Anderson until I heard the broadcast say Chosen. I was like, oh, he changed his name. Okay.
You know he changed his name.
I did after that. But he's still Roby Anderson to me because his mama called him Roby Anderson. But Chosen caught a bad ball, by the way. I mean, if he puts it on him, maybe he gets it, but he didn't. And I'm like, okay, y'all, come down and tackle. And Deron Bland brings him down. Now it's 4th and 1, backed up. They can't go for it. He did that a couple times where he made some secure tackles. The bunch tackles so much better in this game. Early on, a little weird with defense, with the run game and guys open, and either they were missing them or dropping the ball. It was like, all right, hopefully we settle down, or hopefully the defense allows them to start pinning their ears back, or the offense, excuse me. And they did eventually start to settle down. But overall, I do think they made enough plays when they needed to, and obviously Deron Bland pick 6 capped it off. So, I had to put him at the grown folk table. Y'all ready for this cookout? Or I mean, this walk though?
Yeah.
You ready for the walk? Before we get to the walk, like I said, we got a couple sponsors that are very appropriate, in my opinion, for our cookout segment and our walk segment. And shouts out to Cornbread. Cornbread Hemp is our new sponsor that we're going to look. It's not just a walk, but when we do it, they're going to help us out, man. Before we dive back into some things, I got to tell y'all about Cornbread Hemp, because a lot of the times I'm watching the games or I'm watching film, and sometimes after all that breaking the tape down, or after all that Cowboys hoopla, I need something to make me feel good, make me feel chill, make me relax a little bit. And Cornbread Hemp CBD gummies and THC gummies. I'm sorry, right there. Wow. Got the blueberry. Come on. Get it. Bang. The blueberry breeze, man. Good taste, by the way. Sometimes these gummies have that bad aftertaste and whatnot. No. Good taste here. These gummies are made from 100% organic hemp, and they only use flower. That's where the purest form of CBD comes from. No stems, no seeds, no junk, just full spectrum goodness. Now, not claiming anything crazy. I'm just letting you know that this is where you need to be. If you go to cornbreadhemp.com/steal, you get 30% off your first order at checkout. That's cornbreadhemp/steal. 30% at checkout. Your body will thank you later. All right, let's jump into this walk real quick. And again, this is 2 Eyes walk.
Yeah.
Who you bringing on the walk, 2 Eye? Talk to us here.
Yeah. Is there music?
I got you.
Okay.
She said, give me that. Play my theme music.
Yeah, I need music. All right. So one of the humans that's going to go on the walk is Murray.
All right,
I think this was his best game this season.
Murray, go ahead.
Scott, why would you choose that picture? Do you hate me? Scott hate me.
No, I don't.
He be acting like he like me in front of y'all, but he hate me.
I think
but yeah, I think that
I do-rag
felt like
you look like you partaking in the festivities. I think it's a great thing.
I'm
sorry. Go ahead.
But no, I think that this was Murray's best game. He just looked so much more decisive and instinctual, man. And some of those plays he made early in the game and the run just coming downhill. See, look, Scott, you did 2 Eye wrong. People agree. But yeah, I thought that this was his best game. Obviously, we didn't even see Sanborn, and he had a concussion protocol.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna throw that out there, that they decided not to have him out there. But yeah, I think that this is something we can build upon. He's at the mic position. He hasn't played at the mic really, but he looked more comfortable in that position, coming downhill, being quick triggered, and also communicating with Shamar James. So yeah, thought that was a better game from him.
There was a weird moment for them at the beginning on that touchdown to Ertz, where they kind of stacked each other, and Shamar must have just but they settled down. I think Shamar obviously settled down. Murray settled down. He has been solid when if he's in his hook flat area or just the flat area. I'm sorry. If he sees it, he's been solid getting downhill and making a tackle. Even in a bad game against the Panthers, he did it against the Giants. He did it against the Commanders. This to me was definitely his second best game of the season, or at least his best game since week 2. Who else should bring it on the walk?
This walk is these pictures is crazy. I'm bringing Brevin Span forward.
Brevin looked like he already done partake before he went on.
I'm bringing Brevin Span forward. He ain't got a lot of love in the receiving game, but what he's doing in the blocking game is not nothing to snuff at. I mean, some of these big runs that you see, he is right there on the interior in line, pushing guys off their spot. He also, too, when you look in the red zone, dog, he's moving bodies. And that was something coming, him when he was coming in, that people looked at his draft tape and was like, man, this is a good blocker. We didn't get to see him really showcase that at this level last year. I think he's much improved, and he does so much of the dirty work that people don't really talk about. But yeah, we got ourselves a dog in the blocking game from the tight end.
Would like to see him get more reps. One thing I did notice, and I'm glad they did this, they took out Lipke on that I think they do like they have the tight end. Usually it's Lipke doing that at snap motion, and he inserts in like the C gap and he block. It was Brevin now doing it, and he just cleared out whoever that third level defender was. I would like to see them continue that.
Yeah, he's very physical, and I just think that his power and his size is something that helps him manage some of those bigger guys. He's 6'7". He's not a small guy. He's not light in the ass, and you can just see him, really be authoritative at the point of contact. So, Brevin Span forward. And my last guy that's going on a walk, we got to see him throw up the hooks and do his little barking, because he's an Omega man.
Shouts out to
because he's an Omega man. Donovan Izaraku got his first sack.
First one.
He's been getting close for weeks and weeks and weeks. You see the game kind of slowing down for him. He's learning how to keep guys' hands off of him. That was his problem earlier in the season, is that he was literally kind of going into guys' chest. I feel like, and also too, some of the run stops he had were key. When the Commanders were pinned back close to their own end zone, the way that he is shedding and tackling and using his power, I think that that's something that, is something to look forward to as he grows as a pass rusher, but also as a run defender. And so, those are the gentlemen that I want to take on a walk. I feel like they all have good performances that maybe were not the highlight performances, but definitely made a difference for the defense yesterday.
I think that's a feel-good moment for Izaraku to get on the board. He talked about how everybody was congratulating him and stuff. That means something. I'm not saying they're going to come in spades or anything like that now, but now he knows, okay, I can do it. It's not something where he's like, damn, it's a lot harder to get a sack in the NFL. It is. Yeah, it is a lot harder to get a sack. So when you get it, you feel like, all right, I know how to now. And I want to say that might have been on like a secondary move or a stunt or something like that. He's probably, there's not many good ones, but he's probably going to be your better stunt guy because he has that athleticism, but we don't really have that guy that can knife through as much on a consistent basis. But even more impressive to me, I think this year, is the consistency of him in the run game.
Yes.
There's times he may get moved, he may get turned and things like that because he's not a big guy. But I think he's made more plays as a run defender than not, or at least in the pass game. And if that starts to level out, then you have a really complete defensive end for you moving forward. And probably, I think we could say this with our 10 toes down here, the best second round defensive end you've picked over the last 5 years or whatever it's been. Marshawn Nealon, God bless him. He is what he is to me. I think he's an early down guy. I think he's a rotational guy. And then Sam.
What'd you say? Huh?
Yeah.
Who?
I mean, he lucky.
What
by
happened?
The way. He lucky.
Oh, you know what you're talking about.
Yeah. So shouts out to Brevin Span Ford. Kenneth, I want to say something so bad, but out of respect. See, look, it's out of respect to 2i publicly, but privately, I would say this to her because she sits for real. But I'll tell you after the show. Because look at that picture.
Y'all, these are my walk people.
And then Brevin Span Ford is Izaraku, man.
Don't do my walk people
this was
wrong.
a very, very fun segment. I might have to get you back on here to do this again after the Dubs. I like when we split up the cookout.
That
like
was
that.
fun. I gotta go to physical therapy because I'm old.
See, I can calm down because they already got on you earlier. But go to physical therapy. Make sure you take your medicine.
Sky!
What?
You know how these people thinking I just be acting up out here.
No. You good. You good. You know, very responsible in everything that you do in life.
Telling all the business of the business.
What? No. For the walk. You're responsible on the walk.
Nah, just people in the car. It's time for me to go.
Shouts out to Cornbread Him. Shouts out to Z Biotics. And shouts out to our girl. I appreciate you coming through. I'm gonna give the fans my picks for tonight before I get up out of here and rap to them in the chat. But thank you,
y'all.
Much love. Love you. That's our girl, Iisha Morrison, aka 2I in the building. I knew that was gonna be a fun segment. Y'all better leave her alone, though. Y'all better leave her alone, ladies and gentlemen. See, when you win the way you do, and by the way, don't let anybody rain on your parade. I don't care if they were out there playing with Costco receivers. I don't care that Jaden Daniels went down. I don't. Because this remains true. I also don't care who your defense is. This offense, at the end of the day, will put up some points or can score against you. We just saw one of the best defenses, if not the best defense in the Denver Broncos, that a rookie quarterback and a CTE running back put up 32 points on. Y'all see that? I don't think I got the drop no more, but our boy Cam Scatterbo, he in there going crazy, seeking out CTE in the end zone. So everybody can get the business. Nobody now we're gonna see about the Texans tonight. We'll see. They got a good matchup. They might be the only team that haven't given up a bunch of points just yet. But we don't play the Texans. The Denver Broncos is on the schedule. The Kansas City Chiefs are on the schedule. Those defenses are really good. All these other defenses, they can get the business. They can get the business. Let me talk to y'all in the chat real quick. The Guru said, damn right, Scott, this is a scary, dangerous, explosive, damn offense. Been waiting for this moment. That's all, bro. Been waiting for this moment. And it's not like it's not. Doesn't it feel different than the other number one offenses, especially for those who have been here for years, right? Who have been here for years where we've come on here and we've talked about, yeah, but that's because 44. That's because 4 and 88. You know what I mean? It wasn't because, look how they scheme. Look how this is playing. Look how they're out coaching. No, this feels different. This feels intentional. This feels like it can carry anywhere. You got 340 burgers in the first 7 weeks. Granted, defensive touchdown. Sure. But your offense is scoring 30 points every damn game except for 2 of these games. And if you really think about it, if you don't fumble the ball in week 1, if you don't fumble the ball early in the Bears game, you'll probably score 28, 30 points again. I agree, Byron. So the scary part is getting better. And that's something we had talked about last week when we were like, look, they're doing this without CD, without Turpin, without guys up front, the starting center, starting right guard, right? Starting left tackle at one point. They're doing this with a new offense. This is a new offense. This is not the McCarthy. This is not a Kellen Moore. So you figure, okay, maybe, they won't hit their peak until week 10, 11, 12. They didn't. They haven't. And they're still, to me, the best offense in the National Football League. There's only one team that I think at one point can contend, and it was the Detroit Lions. But I think the Cowboys are the best offense in the National Football League. I think they're the best. Overshown tweet. We have an overshown tweet. Willie T back up in here. Okay, get a dub. Willie T done came back up there. What's good with you, brother? He said offense look good, but still need another power back. I think you have another power back in Maffa, but I don't know if his injury is really, an issue. I just think you need a second back. At this point, I don't care if it's a Lightning. I just think you need another guy that you can give the ball to 8-10 times and he can give you some production. And if that's not going to be Blue yet, which right now it's not, but maybe it will be later, but then get one. Or honestly, when they called up Malik Davis, I was talking to my boys. I was like, I wonder if Malik Davis is going to get the rock a few times this week. Didn't happen, but they called him up. That was interesting. A-Chain's crazy, by the way. A-Chain, I don't think A-Chain's a lead back in the same sense that Williams is. But A-Chain is a lead back in the sense of you got to get him to rock at least 15 times. I love that. Don't know if it happened, but I'd love that. So early in the show, we started off this thing. If you just jumped up in here, we started off this thing talking about the changes defensively. And I just think it's so funny how all this played out and how it played out leading up to this. I had made a tweet talking about, the blitz rate of Matt Eberflus. Historically speaking, as a defensive coordinator, he is usually in the bottom third, blitz rate wise. Usually in the 20%, which is always in the bottom third. Not a man guy. But he came into this game and flipped that upside down on his head. 30+% blitz rate, 47% man coverage. Your Deron Bland comes out after the game and says, yeah, I like to play man. As a cover guy, that's what I like to do. But what led up to it is interesting. And I wonder if we'll get more from the coaches moving forward, because we didn't get more from the Trayvon Diggs situation, right? That was very weird. And I was talking to a bunch of people like, this don't smell right. It don't feel right. I was even saying to myself, I wonder if they benched him and Diggs just tapped out. Like, there was a lot of things going on in my head. Like, this is not looking good, right? And then they come out and say, oh, no, we're expecting them next week. I thought it was a trade coming down. Nah, we're expecting them next week. There's no smoking gun, yada, yada, all this stuff. I'm like, can y'all just tell us what happened? With all due respect, the mother ain't Dion. If Dak do something crazy, you can put on the hush hush, let it go. CeeDee Lamb, whatever. You ain't Dion. So if something legitimately happened that you're not, with, let's end this thing. So we ain't in we ain't no problems in the locker room, nothing like that. Although he had already started that, right? He had already came out publicly and talked about wanting to play more man, talked about the grits and the pass rush and spoke up. And to his point, whatever the hell was going on, he was right. He was right. It's so crazy how he sits to this week and they go to doing the exact thing that he talked about doing and played better at it. Now, the 25 character, he wasn't the greatest, but he had his moments. But I would love to know what the hell went down. But also, if you missed the beginning of the show, I actually don't think it was the players. I think the players, and this comes from a couple, well, Diggs publicly and another player coming out that wasn't bought into the program. They just haven't spoke out publicly, right? Sometimes it's about how you say it, not what you say. And the how aspect of what he's been doing, it's not been rubbing the coaches the right way. Clearly. I think this was shoddy. I think listening to Shoddy talk about the specifics of defense and talk about the press conference, and then we come to find out Shoddy is in the defensive meetings for the first time this year throughout the week. And as you guys know what I said previously last week, I don't think the defense was matching the energy of I don't think it matched what your offense is. Not even just the energy. It didn't match. An aggressive fast pace, play free, run hit talk offense. You didn't get that till this week. And what did Deron Bland say? Man, yeah, we was out there playing fast. 47% man. A little bit more blitzing. You don't say, Matt. You don't say. In fact, this dude knows he has man corners because he benched his best slot corner. I'm sorry. His best slot zone corner. Benched him. Put him on. Come have a seat, fella. We not finna play a whole lot of zone today. So you know it. You are admitting without saying it, and we'll see what happens Thursday. Yeah, I probably should have leaned into this more often. And that's all we've been asking. That is all. Hey, man, this might not be the year for you to go 91% zone. You don't have the dudes to do it. You might want to lean into what these guys do best. That's what we were saying. Then your players start saying it. And you fighting your player back and things get heated behind the scenes. And if there is going to be a friction that is you can't overcome, then yeah, you got to make a decision there. Which, if you know, going into the season, we talked about, hey, when it comes to Diggs, he's already to me on the outs. He has to play out of his mind to stay here, and that has not been the case. And then if you're a headache on top of it, yeah, your time is probably ticking, right? But he wasn't wrong. That's the funny part about it. He ain't lying. And your coordinator started to do those things, and your defense rewarded you for it. Now, it wasn't pretty. Here's what I'm not going to do. And I said this to you guys last week. I need at least 2 games in a row before I start going back into studying it, or putting out content for you guys where I'm like, hey, man, the offense does this and the defense got, you fooled me already. You already got me after the Jets game. Ain't doing it. Show me again. Show me consistency. Then we can get back to that. Until then, good job. Take our baby steps. I will see you next week, defense, and we'll see if you show up. All right? Sean Payton, a little different animal. Bo Nix playing pretty well. All right? They can run the ball. They got weapons. This will be a real test. And if you pass that test, we back in the saddle. We back in the saddle. More grits, said Elijah. Coach don't like grits. Shotty came into that room and said, here, have a bunch of grits. That's my theory, by the way, y'all. I'm not saying this is the truth. But we do know factually he was in the defensive meetings this week giving ideas. I just find it hard to believe. Going from 91% man to 47%, going from blitzing the league lowest, 32% blitz rate puts you way at the top, bro. That puts you in the top 10. To go from the drastic, I can't see that just being Flus just saying, yeah, I'm just going to change because my players said it and because I'm changing. I think that's your head coach saying, look, bro, you're not finna mess this up for me. Do you see what my defense is doing? I'm sorry, my offense? Do you see how well we are playing? I'm not asking you to go from 32 to 1, 32 to 10, 32 to 15, 32 to 20. I just need you to go from 32 to like 25. And if that means we go from giving up 7 big plays a game to 2, 150 yards on the ground to 100, 4 pass touchdowns a game to 2, you will win a lot more football games. A lot more. So shouts out to Shotty. Again, my theory. And shouts out to Flus for taking his coach's word or ideas or whatever he did in there and doing it. Now let's see if he does it again next week. And let's see if it's not just, oh, well, this week wide receivers aren't good, so we played man and yada yada. Okay. Got good receivers next week. Don't be a little. Let me slow down. Let me slow down. Anyway. Rod Trash said bonus points. Maybe man and blitzing will actually generate turnovers for a change. Huh. Who would have known? Heat up the quarterback. Yeah. Let your corners play closer to the ball. 5 pass breakups is the season high for the Cowboys. Kind of hard to get some pass breakups when you're giving much cushion and playing almost 100% zone, huh? Interesting. Who getting re-signed? All 3 of them. Brandon, Aubrey, J. Will, GP, all 3 of them getting re-signed. I believe all 3 of them get re-signed. I mean, Aubrey definitely get re-signed. GP ain't going nowhere. I think they give J. Will a small deal. Wouldn't go crazy though, but I think they give him a small deal and then draft a running back. Dion said Fluke's got to be in the doghouse until Thanksgiving. Yeah, I'm not. Look, appreciate this week. I told you I need consistency before I go back on that. Looking at the defense and man, consistency, bro. Just Los, you wildin'. That is crazy, Rod Chat. 5 pass breakups, a season high after 6 weeks is crazy. I agree with Toxic. He said all year for Flus. Yeah, I don't think he can come out the dog. If the pressure makes him do this, keep his ass in there. Keep his ass in there. Roy said Leopard can't change the spots. Flus ain't changing. So that's what I thought too. And I still believe that because one game does not equal complete change. But he did change in this game. And he ain't just change his spots. He went from a leopard to a lion. He completely changed everything. Okay. Let's see if we can keep it moving. They talk about creating a culture, says Troy. How is that possible without dialogue? Agree. Now, I do think there is it's how you say it aspect to it. It's not what you say, it's how you say it. And I'm pretty sure it wasn't coming off the right way with a guy like Flus. And that's why I thought you saw the back and forth. But again, both of these corners in the secondary, they all were playing below what they really were. And they both are high-paid corners, not doing what they're doing. But Bland's probably not saying much. Diz always had a weird vibe, attitude about himself. And it probably came off in a specific way. And I'm pretty... let me just say this to be pretty sure I'm not going viral or nothing. I would not be surprised if why he was benched earlier wasn't just because of what was happening on the field, but what happened in the meeting and the how aspect of it. But if it's really truly put behind them, okay now. I know he ain't what he was, and I know Bland ain't what he was. But damn it, if he's not going anywhere, then put those guys in position to do what they are most comfortable with. Because God bless his soul. And Wheezy Bridges. I don't want to see that. Kyrie Elam, God bless his soul. No. I'm sorry. Granted, you might have to see some of it. If the answer is to move Bland in the slot full time for the rest of the year, that'll be interesting. Because I think your 3 best corners, when they're all healthy and out there, is obviously Bland, Diggs, and Reddy. But maybe if they go all man, they don't, or not mostly man, they don't believe Reddy is a better man corner. I'd like to see it. He knows Reddy better than I do. I'd like to see it. I'd like to see it. That's all I'm saying. And if he ain't the guy, okay, cool. Then let's switch it back up, put Bland in the slot, and we'll roll. You know? But nothing should be off the table, as he said. Nothing should be off the table. Say Elam just bad. Yeah, I'm good off, buddy. I'm good off, buddy. Good off, buddy. Yeah, CeeLo said you pay both of them due to their man coverage. Let them earn it, man. Yeah, and that's with the injuries, right? Like we know the injuries are there, but again, they are who they are at this point. So I say if you're going to go down with the ship, let them go down doing what they're comfortable with. Both of your corners now have publicly said it. DB said, I'm gonna chill until a good game happens. DB ain't said it publicly until he had a good game. You're like, yeah, man, I love it, man. I'm a cover guy. That's what I want to do. All right, coach. Now they both said it. Now they both said it in different ways. They both said it. Are you now going to go back to doing what they're not as comfortable doing majority of the time? Don't be like that. Don't be like that. Jason said, "Foots with trash did." I mean, look, man. You know what I think it is? It's the DMV thing. Like he ride for his DMV peoples, man, and you know he feels like Diggs ain't been playing well and don't let a game and stuff, and that's Foot's prerogative, right? I mean, he ain't wrong with some of the things he's saying, so you know, but yeah, that's gonna be fun seeing that all year. Them two go back and forth, but him going at him. Yeah, I'm gonna watch some Raw this week. Dev said the energy was different because they scared of getting benched like Diggs. I don't know, Dev. But hey, if that's the case, so let's do it. If that's the case. But I think he switched it up, man. I think he switched it up, and I think he played towards their strengths, and I think he listened to his head coach. Y'all better leave my boy alone, man. Leave my boy alone. All right, I think we good here. I think we straight on supers. I don't think we got. Do we go overtime? We already in overtime. I got a lot going on, so I do got to route. I do have to route. Good stuff today. Shouts out to before we go, I got to give y'all my picks for tonight. Shouts out to Sleeper, by the way. Didn't get a chance. Let me tell you this. The reason why because I don't want this to go on the Sleeper. The reason why I haven't been around last week, y'all got kids. Man, you can help me out as a parent. Boy, this hand, foot, mouth. I was able to escape it with my other bucks. I have not been able to escape it with my youngest. And he has hand, foot, mouth. And that means he can't go to school. Which means, you know, me and the lady have to figure out how to be with him with hand, foot, mouth. And it was rough last week. He was in the middle of it. And he's starting to calm down, but we still getting through it. That ain't no joke. So if you got a buck to get hand, foot, mouth, or you haven't had it yet, just be prepared mentally. Be prepared mentally for when it comes down. Don't send them to daycare, obviously, but it's rough. It is serious, and it's a tough, and it sucks seeing your buck go through it. So that's why our Sky had been live the last week. He ain't dropping. I couldn't. You got a 1-year-old running around. You can't, man. You got to take care of the buck. So that is what has happened. Hopefully it gets better and I can be back on a regularly scheduled program this week. So apologies, but got to make sure baby boy is straight. Hand, foot, mouth is no joke. Now, on to my picks tonight for Monday Night Football. Brought to you by Sleeper. Get 100% match up to $100 using my promo code STEELE, STEELE. More or less 248.5 yards on Baker Mayfield. I got more. Baker Mayfield is playing some of his best ball of his career. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying he's going up against the worst defense or the best defense, but I feel like he is good for 250. They don't have Bucky Irvin, I don't believe, is playing, so it's going to be a lot of throwing the ball around, and it doesn't seem to matter who his receivers are because that damn Bucks team got about 15 of them. Give me Baker Mayfield, 250 yards through the air. Give me the more. This one was tough. Jackson Smith, Jackson Smith and Jigba, JSN, been balling. I mean, he's been playing out of his mind. More or less anytime touchdown. I want less. I know. He's been scoring, I think, back-to-back weeks now, over 100 yards, back-to-back weeks, a touchdown. But at some point, it's going to stop. At some point, he's going to have a regular game. And this Houston defense, I believe it was, It's a good defense. That's a pretty good defense. I want to say they've only allowed a couple receiver touchdowns. Could be wrong here, but I got less. I don't feel great about it, but I feel like at some point JSN is not going to score a damn touchdown. But he's killing right now. He's killing. And then I got more Kai Fairburn, 1.5 field goals. You can book him down for 2 of them things against Seattle. Seattle's defense is a pretty good defense. So I think they'll exchange some field goals. Did I get that right? Seattle? I believe it's Seattle. Yep. So there it is. Those are my picks. And you can also get a free $20 entry. Head on over to Sleeper. They are doing a new promo where you get $20. So if you put $100 in, you get 100% match, and they will give you 20 on top. So that's $120 if you use the code STEEL. And make sure y'all remember that, because they track that. They track that. If you haven't and you play on Sleeper, use the code. And look, let's do this. If you use the code and you don't got to use these picks, any picks, send them to me. Shoot me your picks on Twitter. Some folk got me on IG. I don't be on IG, but I'm on there for this particular reason. And we'll put y'all picks up. Sleeper will like that. Sleeper will like that. All right. With that said, appreciate y'all for jumping in. Me and 2i. Don't get it twisted. We did a Monday live show, but we will be back talking about week 7 going up against the Denver Broncos. And boy, if things play out well, the Broncos get this dub. Even if they don't, we got a good one lined up for y'all next week. We think we're getting Mina Kimes back, baby. We are penciled in for Sky and 2i to bring back a friend of the show in Mina Kimes next week. And I would love to get Mina on a 2-game win streak. Cowboys 4-3. You know, beating the Denver Broncos in a place they haven't beaten the Denver Broncos in forever. It'd be wonderful. It'd be wonderful. Shouts out to Brother L. I see you in there. Let me press this button on get up out of here. Good stuff today. Really good stuff. Run this back if you haven't. I might even clip me and 2i's apart. It was great. It was great. It was nice to split that cookout segment up with somebody. So maybe we'll do that more often after dubs. Shouts out to Suge Robot. Right before I press the button, drop 5 and says, Sky, once we get BB back, fire. You right. I do think we're starting to miss him a little bit, but hey, Clayton Adams got them boys playing, don't he? Clayton Adams got them boys playing. With that said,
push the goddamn button. Push the goddamn button.
Can Mina go on a... Boy, I almost slipped up. I be having jokes, man. I play too much. Brother L got to see me in action a couple times. I love Mina Kimes, though. I'm not going to do that. Love y'all, too. We out of here. Peace. Boy, I'll be ready, though, brother. It'd be right there. And I have to realize there's people watching. This is the internet. It's forever. Chill out sometime. Shouts out to Body Matrix. Dropped 2. It said, toxic, you left me hanging. Still you, brother. A lot of Njigwas watching, Sky. That's crazy.